while Tucker won the wall competition, which should surprise nobody. He'd been preparing for it the most, and it did come down to him and Quinn, which we didn't get to see the ending on feeds, which is sketchy. You know, the production probably does love Tucker a little too much for my liking. But for now, I'm going to remain calm and just enjoy the week. Because, yes, Tucker's HOH, and that can bring about some good things. But the best thing happening is Brooklyn's game completely crumbling, which I find very hilarious. It is making me quite giddy to watch Brooklyn's game continue to crumble. It's been crumbling for days now, really, the past week. In fact, all of last week, in all of my videos over the past week, I spent some time in each video talking about Brooklyn's game and why it was so bad and all the things she was doing wrong. Because, as I said from the beginning about Brooklyn's game, while some people on social media were saying, Brooklyn's playing such a good game, I was like, where? Because I ain't seeing it. Because her social game does leave a lot to be desired. For the first 2.5 weeks of this game, she was just trying to be a coaster, just along for the alliance. Then she became very passionate about the Pentagon, and that's fine. But the problem with her game, as I said over a week ago, she was this coaster, but decided to become bossy, and she became controlling. And you can't have it both ways, and it's why she's had so many missteps over these past few days. And I love it. One, because I love being right, but two, because I don't like her. So it is very fun to watch her continue to fall apart. Her telling Rubina that, oh, you're going home, Rubina, you don't have the votes, was such a dumb mistake. And it goes back to what I said last week about her game as well. Rubina going was never good for Brooklyn's game. So it was Brooklyn playing stupid and not playing for herself, playing for this Pentagon alliance that thought they already had the game won and they were just going to make it to Final Five. I really chuckle every time an alliance of more than 4 people think they're just going to all make it to the end. It doesn't happen very often, if ever. So, yeah, it's just fun to watch Brooklyn really fall apart there. The main other mistake is that she's trying to really make it seem like T-Core and Kimo were driving the vote for Rubina in the first place. And yeah, sure, they can say Kimo and T-Core were saying they were going to vote out Rubina. Yes. But that was not the driving force for Rubina being voted out. In fact, they still wouldn't have had the numbers to flip T-Core and Rubina without the likes of the Leahs and the Josephs. So I just think that Brooklyn's getting caught up in her shit, and Tucker is catching all of her shit, and she's now become Tucker's main target, which I find delightful. Now, Tucker's still making it seem like Quinn is his main target, which is also a good part on Tucker. Tucker is playing the game well for once. This is really the first time that Tucker's been playing logically. Yeah, he's done some crazy things that worked, but they weren't exactly good gameplay. It was just taking a big risk that paid off. In some ways, it paid off. So I'm glad that Brooklyn is the main target. And what I do find fascinating with the dynamics of this new alliance between Tucker, Rubina, T-Core, Kimo, and Angela, I want to see how they really delegate this week. Because Rubina is not really playing the game, like I said yesterday. So she's not fun to watch, and I don't really know what I'm going to get from her dynamic. She's just kind of along for the ride. She's there for Tucker to carry her to the end, which maybe he can, but it's not exactly playing the game. Angela's using the day, at least so far, to try and get information for Tucker from the other side. So Angela's kind of a good soldier for Tucker right now, and Kimo is, of course, a great soldier for Tucker, which we will get to. T-Core, though, is the person in that alliance that I find still wants to play her own individual game, and I think can still play her own individual game. Let's talk about Kimo first, though. Kimo, I want to give him so much credit. I do. He is playing his own game too. He's even separating himself from T-Core's gameplay, which is a good thing. Those two cannot just be this duo doing the same things because that doesn't work for their own individual games. They have different connections in that house. My biggest problem with Kimo is that his biggest driving force is this crush on Tucker. And nothing can convince me otherwise. He is so quick to give Tucker all information that he possibly can. They doesn't do this for T-Core. So Kimo is coming off as somebody that's just way too old to be doing this shit. He's way too old to have this crush on a straight guy when he's gay. We've seen this on past Big Brothers, whether it's the US or Canada, where a gay player, because they cast so poorly and they don't really cast other gay players so they can't have showmances, they can easily be led on by some other guys in the house. But Tucker's not really leading him on whatsoever. Kimo knows Tucker has this thing with Rubina, and sure, Tucker gives Kimo massages, but like, come on, man. You're way too old to be falling into this shit. So I can't have respect for Kimo's game yet. I like a lot of what he's doing, but because this is his biggest driving force, I don't respect it, and I don't think it is that great for his own game. It's great for Tucker's game, not so great for Kimo's game. So until I actually can see Kimo truly playing his own game and not just playing for Tucker and this weird crush on Tucker that he's way too old for, I can't respect it. On the T-Core side of things, I've had some comments. I see a lot of the online drivel about how T-Core just flipped from the bottom of one alliance to the bottom of another alliance. And there is some merit to that. Kinda. Tucker loves T-Core. I think Tucker really does like T-Core. And I think Rubina and T-Core have a really good friendship as well. So on a personal level, I don't think that's completely true. Like, T-Core was not in the know of that other alliance. In fact, she was not in the Pentagon whatsoever. Another thing we'll get to here in a second. But yeah, she was not like getting information from that alliance. I mean, maybe the first week her and Chelsea had a good thing going. Chelsea ruined that though. But that's why today I see other people, like, I feel like whatever T-Core does, people want to overly criticize, and it's really getting on my nerves. So now I feel like I have to defend T-Core, at least for now, even though she too can get on my nerves. I don't like all this crying she's doing after flipping the house, but she still deserves mad respect for actually going through with the blind side, because for so many seasons, we've had so many players afraid to play. And for a while, it looked like Kimo and T-Core were scared players too. But they went through with the blind side, and they deserve the credit for that. But also, people criticizing T-Core for wanting to continue her relationship with Chelsea. Why? That is what a good social game is. Like, this is a social game. And yeah, Chelsea was upset with her. But Chelsea's a gamer. She'll get over it. And I think T-Core trying to mend that relationship is great for both of their games. But especially for T-Core's, because T-Core is going to need that relationship in the future if she really plans on winning this game. The stuff I don't like from T-Core is her kind of... She's feeling sorry for herself right now. Feeling like she made a mistake even, and that her game might end soon, but she wants people like Chelsea and Kimo to get far. Fine, whatever. That's annoying. But I still say that T-Core is one of the only players in that house so far that not only realizes in her gut what's best for her game, but actively tries to make those connections for what is good for her game. And doing that with Chelsea is good for her game. The other thing, there is a portion of the audience that still thinks that all the black players need to stick together and be in an alliance, and that T-Core is like a turncoat or whatever for voting out Cedric. And there is some facts to that, that in Big Brother and Survivor, not that they all need to work together, but that black players usually need at least one other black player to get to the final four with them to actually have a chance at winning. That's almost historically a fact, except for like one winner of Survivor. But in this instance, I don't see the logic of how T-Core is the only one in the wrong. When they have an alliance of Cedric, Chelsea, and Cam, man, Cam's getting more and more forgettable by the day, by the way. That may be something else I need to talk about. But when those three have an alliance that T-Core's not included in, both by themselves, but also as a pentagon without T-Core, T-Core has a right to feel some type of way. And I feel like there's also this talking point that, oh, they knew T-Core wouldn't have their backs. That doesn't even make sense. The only reason T-Core voted out Cedric is because they were not keeping T-Core in the know. Like, you can have that alliance fine. Not just the three of them, Triple C, but also the Pentagon. If last week Chelsea and Cam would have kept their game relationship going with T-Core. But they didn't. In fact, they tried to do the opposite, where Chelsea, Cam, and Brooklyn were trying to make it seem like Kimo and T-Core's vote didn't matter, and they were just going to flip the vote. If MJ and Rubina are on the block, they're going to vote out Rubina anyway. That was just stupid gameplay. So I don't think that that should be a slight against T-Core either. And I'm not afraid to have these topic of conversations because at the end of the day, if people are saying that T-Core is the only one in the wrong there, at best, you're being hypocritical. But at worst, you're being just stubbornly obtuse. Because logically, T-Core did do what was logically best for her game over what transpired over the past week. Chelsea and Brooklyn were off in their own little world, getting way too cocky, getting way too complacent, which is never good in a social game like this. And they just did not keep that relationship with T-Core going. And they did the opposite, like I just said. They tried to almost push T-Core to vote out Rubina over MJ. Stupidity. So I don't like T-Core getting shit on for that either because the logic just ain't there. You can say the same thing for Cam, Cedric, and Chelsea, that they were being a turncoat to T-Core. There were many conversations about T-Core being voted out at Final 8 or Final 7, not making it to Final 5 with the Pentagon that she wasn't. But yeah, where T-Core is concerned, I still think she needs to do something that I don't think she's going to do, and that will hurt her game. I really feel like where everything lies right now, that T-Core, Quinn, and Joseph need each other in this game for the foreseeable future. And right now, T-Core and Kimo still want to protect Quinn. He's not the target this week, even though that's what Tucker's trying to pretend it to be. But I have to see how Kimo and T-Core actually work this week. Clearly, in my opinion, Kimo and T-Core are becoming the main characters. They are dictating a lot of what's going on in that house, which has to give them credit for something. Because how do they protect Quinn? How does T-Core protect Quinn while also having Chelsea in the know that Quinn's not the real target this week? That's going to have to be some very tight gameplay from T-Core this week. But so T-Core has that thing that she knows she needs to keep Quinn in this game for now. But Joseph's kind of the disconnect here, and they do need Joseph. You know, Joseph and Quinn have this relationship, and I think Joseph and T-Core could have that relationship too. But I do think they need each other because the longer Tucker is in this game, the harder he is going to be to get out. So, and he has people right now that will work for him, and Kimo's one of them. And Angela, for now, is another one. I hope Angela will, do some backstabbing at some point, but I don't know. So if he has those two, and he also has Rubina, who's just there for a showmance, he's going to be very hard to get out going forward. I really think that if one of those three, Quinn, Tikor, Joseph, are out before Final Six, the other two in that scenario has such a hard chance at getting to the end of this game that if they do, they might deserve to win. But, well, Quinn probably doesn't. He's such a bad player. But yeah, those three need each other, in my opinion. That's the way I'm seeing the board because, I mean, that really only matters if Tucker survives the next couple of weeks. But the way production's looking with Tucker, they're going to try their damnedest to make sure Tucker sticks around for the foreseeable future. So yeah, Tikor, Quinn, and Joseph need each other the longer that Tucker is in this house. Where Joseph is concerned, his spot is difficult now. He can't float anymore. Chelsea, Brooklyn, and Cam actually seem the most angry at Joseph because Joseph did make a big deal about the collective being a thing, that Joseph started the collective, and then he flips on them. That really blew up his chance to float for the foreseeable future. So Joseph has a tight game, in my opinion, going forward too. Joseph's biggest problem is his delusions. He does a good job with his relationships. He's doing a good job trying to play Tucker that they're tight. He's doing a good job trying to play Quinn that they're tight. He's good at playing people. But he overestimates his game. And that could bite him in the ass sooner rather than later because he is now creating enemies and he can't play the same way he's been playing the first month of the season. So he's going to have to switch his game up a bit. And then lastly, Quinn is a disaster, bro. Quinn and his ego, I'm sick of it. I'm truly sick of it. Somebody finally told Quinn about all the thing Leah's been doing and talking shit about him and that Leah's been playing him. But Leah herself, has friend-zoned him over the past week, very obviously. But Quinn still doesn't seem to want to believe any of that. And I don't understand. It has to be an ego thing. Quinn's also sitting there talking about how Kimo and Tikor blew up the Pentagon too fast and he told them about it, but the timing needed to be right. Dude, you told Tikor and Kimo about the Pentagon too fast. That was the problem. Quinn's been such a messy player. He's such a chatterbox. He's such a yapper. He's moved into my worst player of the season again. It's been neck and neck between Angela, Tucker, and Quinn. Like, they are all bad players. The fact that they're still here really speaks to the level of gameplay in Big Brother lately and how bad it is. But Quinn has to be taking the cake right now. He also didn't make a deal with Tucker when they were the last two on the wall. I do not get Quinn's gameplay. I guess he's just continuing to try and play like past players and not playing his own game. And it's clearly not working. But his ego, he still thinks he's a mastermind. And he's not a mastermind. I'm not certain he has a mind at all. That's how bad he's been playing. Cam, the past 2 weeks, he's not been playing the game either. I talked a lot of crap about MJ, Leah, Rubina, about not even being players. At this point, I can't call Cam a player either. The past 2 weeks, he's averaging about one game conversation per week. That's not with Cedric, Cam, or Chelsea. That's bad gameplay. Or Brooklyn, I suppose. He's not developing these other relationships anymore like he was in the first 2 weeks. And it's why he's on the block. I didn't even mention the nominations. The nominations are Cam, Quinn, and Brooklyn. And the renom will either be Chelsea or MJ. Of course, Tikor is trying to keep Chelsea off the block this week, which is, once again, smart for Tikor's game. But MJ is doing a really bad job, of course. You know, she's finally playing. Yeah, I'll give her that. But, of course, she's playing like shit. Her whole thing is, like, trying to be on Chelsea and Brooklyn's good side right now. Like, where is the logic? Where is the logic with these people? The house just flipped on Chelsea and Brooklyn and Cam. Why are you trying to now continue to grow your relationship with those two? Like, I get it to an extent if she was doing this a little bit. Like, yeah, like Tikor's doing with Chelsea, trying to mend that relationship is smart. Going so far as to trying to fend those two to Tucker is not working. And now Tucker's just looking at her like MJ's just regurgitating Brooklyn's talking point. Just dumb. Like, I'm at a bad place here because I want Brooklyn gone because I don't like her. But for the game and for the feeds, I think MJ going this week is best for the game overall because MJ can be used for Tucker's game going forward, which I don't want. Tucker she's starting to have too many soldiers for my liking, and production already likes Tucker, so that's an enemy out of me. So I think MJ going might be best for the game overall because it's actually not that great for Tucker's game. MJ going right now, she would go this week because she's doing such a terrible job, but going forward, I do think she would work with Tucker a lot, and Tucker has too many soldiers for me. Okay, I've ranted enough for today. That's all I got to say today. We'll see what transpires over these next few days. I can't keep defending T-Core like this because she needs to get this emotional act together. It's too emotional for me. You're on Big Brother. You're playing this game. Yeah, you made the right move for you. Just stick to it. I still like her intuition about what she needs to do in the game and her making relationship ability. But there's too much criticizing on her for me. But she does do a lot of things that annoy me too. So I do get it, but it's way too much. It's just dumb. So I'm just trying to find the logic in this situation. And I think my logic today was as good as usual. Thank you very much.